Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, and you know what time it is. My name is Kay Brench, and I am back with another episode of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is me, Kay Brench, Kyle Brenchley in the house. I got my candle all lit up, my Rogue One poster, my Utah Jazz hat. We are ready to rock and roll on this Thursday. It is sunny outside. It is literally 50 degrees and sunny. Yesterday, let me put this in perspective. Yesterday, I was pushing snow in a snowstorm twice. We went back, so we started in the morning, and then we went back in the afternoon. I helped my buddy; he has a snow plowing business, and it was an absolute blizzard. And the next day, it's 50 degrees and sunny. I'll probably go for a run. Might enjoy some vitamin D, and I recommend you guys do as well. Fan Talk is a podcast that you can find on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. I film it, obviously, so YouTube's a great place to find it if you like video content. If you just want the audio version, Spotify and iHeartRadio has that for you. We have a lot to talk about today. Of course, we're going to be talking about the red-hot Utah Jazz as their six-game win streak continues. They face off against Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. More about that. We'll look ahead to the NFL playoffs as well, and we'll take a peek at the NBA All-Star leaders. But before we begin, I want to acknowledge the passing of Warriors assistant coach Dejan Milovic. If you guys hadn't heard, terrible story, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Milovic family. The Golden State Warriors were in town Tuesday night to play the Utah Jazz, and Milovic was at a team dinner, had a heart attack, got rushed to the hospital. Unfortunately, did not make it, passed away. He was only 46 years old. Terrible whenever anything like this happens, not just in the world of sports, but anywhere in the world. But the sports family has really come together, and we're really saddened by this news. We wish the best to the Milovic family and pretty much to the rest of the league, because that has an impact when somebody close to you passes away. Unfortunately, that it's like we're human. We have connections to people, and it hits hard to home. So we're very sorry to hear that news. On a brighter note, let's stay in the NBA. Let's talk the Utah Jazz, since we're on the topic. And the Utah Jazz, if you don't know, right here, Utah Jazz hat. This is from their old design. That they're changing it up now. Their colors are highlighter yellow and black. I don't know, not that great. But the Utah Jazz. Let's share my screen here for a bit. Utah Jazz are currently on a 6-game win streak. They're playing very, very well. I was actually at the game on, let's see, it would have been, this game Monday night against the Pacers. Yes, the Pacers did not have Tyrese Halliburton, and we do know now that they made a big trade for Pascal Siakam. They traded away Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora away and a few picks. Full details you can find elsewhere. But the Jazz currently on a 6-game win streak. Look at this right here, starting with the Miami Heat. Since December 30th, they're 8-1, with their only loss being at Boston. Boston has not lost at home. Boston is probably the best team in the East. But they have really turned their season around. If we take a look here at this mark here, 7-16 at this mark. That was December 11th. They were kind of, people were thinking, all right, we're going to trade Lauri Markkanen. We're going to trade any valuable players, Jordan Clarkson, and it's a rebuild. We're just going to, do another year, get draft picks. We still have good draft picks from the Rudy Gobert trade and the Donovan Mitchell trade, so it'll be good for a couple of years, and we're just going to move on. They were not looking good, close to the bottom in the Western Conference, but something clicked. And I don't think it ever is, it usually isn't just one thing that changes the complete attitude landscape of a team, but perhaps multiple things. One of those things is switching up the rotation. Early in the season, they had Talen Horton-Tucker playing a lot. They had Jordan Clarkson starting. They're really just trying to find a good groove on what rotation worked. But recently, they've really found a good rotation with Colin Sexton playing the point guard and starting. So Colin Sexton's out there. Of course, Lauri Markkanen's out there. Fontecchio, pretty much a bench player throughout his career, is now starting in a starting role. Not necessarily getting full starting minutes. Clarkson comes off the bench and kind of relieves him and does different things like that. Same with Ochai Abachi, and Keontae George, not necessarily starting, but getting those valuable minutes when it counts. And so this change, and Larry Markkinen's a boss, so I mean he's just doing his thing. This change has really helped the offense flow better. The defense has improved as well. I mean, because you can win games by scoring more points, yes, but to really win in the end, you gotta have some defense along with that scoring ability. So since making those changes, 7-16 in the last month, they went 15-4. That's really good. They've only lost 4 times, and none of those have been at home. That is pretty incredible. The Jazz are really good at home. The stadium's electric, the arena's electric, Delta Center's electric, and it was a good time. It was a good time. I actually got some sweet tickets. My dad's friend has season tickets, hooked us up, so we were in the lower bowl. It's been a long time since I sat in the lower bowl. Let me tell you. The last time I actually sat in the lower bowl was when John Wall. If you guys don't know who John Wall is, look him up. John Wall was on the Wizards. I think it was like the 2015 season or something like that. John Wall was in the house, and I was up real close. I didn't buy those tickets. I was invited by a friend, and it's super cool. I'm a big John Wall fan. If you don't know, I even have a John Wall jersey that I don't think I've worn it on in a podcast, but I'll bring it out here at some point. Big fan of John Wall. It's unfortunate he's not in the league anymore. A couple injuries has, kind of skewed his career, but yada, yada, yada. Enough of that. The Jazz are playing really good. Like I said, they will be taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight, actually, 7 p.m., before they go on a brutal 6-game road trip. Actually, it's not too bad. Honestly, they got Charlotte, they got Washington, they got Brooklyn. Maybe they drop 2 or 3 of those games, but ultimately they'll be okay. If you go on a 6-game road trip and you come out 3-3, like that's a success, I would say. 6 straight road games, you come out 3-3. I think that's a success. 4-2, that's really good. 5-1, perfect. 6-0, amazing. But if you go like 2-4, I guess it's understandable depending on the teams. 1-5, yikes. 0-6, boy, you got some work to do. But 7 o'clock tonight, if you live in Utah and parts of like southern Idaho, all Jazz games are streamed on KJazz, which is channel 14. If not, hopefully you have the NBA pass, or perhaps you're not even a Jazz fan, and that's all good. So let's talk about some other things, some other teams, some other players. Specifically, let's talk about the NBA All-Star voting. And let's take a look at the numbers here. Kind of what we're looking at here. Oh, let me share my screen. And something they did this year, and it doesn't necessarily affect All-Star voting, but it will affect like MVP races, and it will affect different end-of-season awards. So they made a requirement they have to play a minimum of, I believe it's 65 games to be considered for these end-of-season awards. Because in years past, there's been some controversy about players resting too much, not getting a good product out there because the players are just not playing as much, fans getting upset, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole shebang. Anyways, let's look at the All-Star votes. As you can see here, over here on the right side of the screen, it's broken up into front court as well as back court. And kind of how that works is the front court is like forwards and centers. And then the back court are like guards, point guards, shooting guards, regular guards, kind of the smaller players. So that kind of, if a little crash course for you. So as you can see here, the West front court, of course, I'm not surprised that these are the top 5. LeBron James, he'll always be up there. Nikola Jokic, perennial amazing player. Kevin Durant's been established for years. Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard. No surprises there. Backcourt, Luka Doncic, Stephen Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now that guy can ball. I'm glad he's up there in the top 5. James Harden, Kyrie Irving. He's in with elite company there, if you ask me. And if you look over here at the East, Giannis Antetokounmpo, of course, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, my boy, Jimmy Butler. Go check out, I did a whole video on Jimmy Butler and how he dismantled the Bucks last year in the NBA playoffs. Incredible. And then Jaylen Brown up there. Jaylen Brown's a good player. I think he's super underrated. I think a lot of people just don't talk about Jaylen Brown, which it's hard to live in the shadow of Jason Tatum, but I mean, if it works, right? And you're number 5 in All-Star votes for the East front court right now. Now, the East backcourt. Now, this, I love to see this. My boy, I'm saying my boy, that just slipped out. Never met the guy. Tyrese Halliburton, he's very good. I'll say that. That's what I can say as a fan. I've seen him play. He looks really good. He was really good on the Kings. Got traded over the Pacers about 2 seasons ago, and the Pacers are doing good. I don't. I think the last time the Pacers were good was when John Wall was on the Wizards, like 2015. I think they played in a playoff matchup or something like that. But Tyrese Halliburton leads the way by almost 1 million votes. Incredible. Trae Young, OU boy. Whew. Damian Lillard, of course, having a great year for the Bucks. Donovan Mitchell, great year for the Cavs. And then Tyrese Maxey. Wow. He's really stepped into a big role with the Sixers, being pretty much the number 2 option behind Joel Embiid ever since Harden left and all the surviving or supporting cast and crew. So there you go. You can vote. How you vote, you go to NBA.com or you do the NBA app. And all you need is an NBA ID, which essentially is just an NBA account. You can log on. You just need an email and a password, and you can vote. You can vote every day, once a day. Some days votes count more than once. So some days it's like 5. It's like 3, if that makes sense. Like your votes are amplified, multiplied by a couple numbers. So go check that out and get your favorite NBA players in the NBA All-Star Game. All right, that's enough for the NBA. Let's talk NFL. So if you're watching the NFL playoffs, as many people were, literally millions of people were, if you look at the numbers of the viewership, it just absolutely blows your mind that all the top sporting events are NFL. Like the top 56 sporting events from this past year in 2023 were NFL games. Number 57 was a college football game. Football is king here in the United States. And for viewers outside of the United States, I'm sorry I do not talk about football enough, but honestly, I like both. I really do. I really, really do, despite the differences in exposure. Okay, so coming up, these are the matchups coming up. We'll look ahead to those in just a second. But let's go here to Wildcard Weekend and let's break it down. Let me share my screen again and let's talk about what I saw. I watched every single game. I will say though, one game, the Buccaneers-Eagles game, I did watch highlights. I will be honest with you. I did watch highlights of it. I was at the Jazz game Monday night, but I was following along. So yeah. Biggest surprise from the Wild Card Weekend. Biggest surprise for me, I would say the Green Bay Packers over the Dallas Cowboys. But I think the irony here is that we should never be surprised when the Dallas Cowboys screw up in the playoffs. They've done it the last 3-4 years, every single season. This is our year. We're going to win a Super Bowl. Jerry Jones is like talking to the media saying, yo, we got this figured out. I trust Dak. I trust Mike. It doesn't quite work out. I will say, though, Jordan Love, the guy's for real. Can you imagine? And this is like the ideal for everyone. Let me give you some contrast here. Let's compare the Denver Broncos to the Green Bay Packers. Denver Broncos fan, so it's easy to relate. I've talked about them enough, and they're contrasting in these things. The Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers both had amazing quarterbacks. Green Bay Packers had Aaron Rodgers. The Denver Broncos had Peyton Manning. Both probably top 10, maybe top 15, depending on who you ask, quarterbacks of all time. Top 10, I would say. Maybe. Anyways, Rodgers, we're going to talk about these two teams, how they acted after these star quarterbacks left. Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl 50. He retired that year. That was the 2015 season, 2016 Super Bowl. 8 years ago, Super Bowl 50. In those 8 years, the Denver Broncos have failed to find a quarterback that has had success to replace him. They've gone through like 12 different guys, and we all thought at the very, very end, Russell Wilson was going to be it. We're still unsure. He hasn't lived up to his contract. I did a whole video about that. Go check it out. And then you have the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre was there. Then he left. Aaron Rodgers comes in, does amazing. Aaron Rodgers leaves. Jordan Love comes in. Struggles the first, probably 4-5 weeks of the season. Absolutely turns it around. He's throwing for like 300 plus yards a game. I always take the under on passing yards whenever Jordan Love's playing. And he's led the Green Bay Packers to a playoffs, not just the playoffs, but as a 7 seed to upset the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. The Cowboys did not lose a single game at home all year until Sunday. They choked. They choked in the playoffs again. Jerry's not happy. Mike's not happy. Dak's not happy. Jordan Love and all the Utah State Aggies who are now Green Bay Packers fans, very happy. That was a fun game to watch. Another fun game to watch, Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams. I thought this game was incredible. I wasn't surprised that Detroit squeaked it out. I picked them to win. But I'm glad Matthew Stafford played very well. He made a lot of good throws. There was a lot of tough hits. Nakua played well. I'm glad the Rams made this very close game. And frankly, like the Lions were the better team and ultimately won and should have won, deserved to win, the better story. But the Rams were right there. They really were and made for an incredible game. Great viewership. Loved it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Philadelphia Eagles. And the reason I didn't say I was surprised by this, a lot of people were picking the Buccaneers to win, including me. The Eagles, their wings have been tattered for years, or for weeks. Excuse me, not years. They've been good in the last couple of years. And they started out the season 10-1. And then they lose the NFC East. They don't get a home game. They have to go to Florida. I mean, boo-hoo. I love Florida. Give me there right now. But Baker Mayfield, that guy's a dog. From his days at OU, he is fiery. He does not give a you-know-what. Facing off against other OU quarterback Jalen Hurts, he said, you know what? I'm proving that I can replace Tom Brady. Just like the Green Bay Packers, I can replace the star quarterback and fill his shoes to some capacity, more or less. So big win for Baker Mayfield. Big win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Honestly, I'm rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the rest of the playoffs. I'd love to see him go. Houston Texans at Cleveland Browns. This game was surprising, but not as surprising as the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys. Texans, I knew were a good team on offense. I ultimately thought the Browns would win. I thought Flacco would play better on offense, but that defense for the Houston Texans has stepped up when the Browns defense did not. And that ultimately was the difference in play was the defenses. Sure, the Texans played great on offense, but the Cleveland Browns couldn't stop them. You could drive a Holland America cruise through that. There was no stopping C.J. Stroud. And what a great story. Rookie quarterback, rookie head coach DeMarco Ryans. Beautiful, beautiful. Houston is relevant again, and they love it down there. Chiefs at Dolphins. Cold game. That sucks for the Dolphins. You got to take care of business in the regular season. I'll preach that for the rest of my life, however long that may be. So tough. It's tough that you go up against Patrick Mahomes, who's already a great established quarterback, does well at home. Arrowhead Stadium's hard to play at already, but it is freaking -4 degrees and the ground is solid ice, and you're literally from Miami. So unfortunate there for Miami Dolphins fans. And Chiefs. I was hoping they take out the Chiefs, but the Chiefs will now face the Buffalo Bills. And I honestly thought the Bills would win by more. I think they definitely did dominate the game. It was definitely a Bills victory. I mean, fans were literally like standing on snow and just throwing snow around. Typical Buffalo Bills game, you know. But the Steelers made it close for about 2-3 minutes. It was a 7-point game, and you thought, oh, maybe. But, I mean, the Bills were in command this entire game and ultimately took care of business rather easily. Okay, let's jump ahead now to the divisional round. Let me make my picks real quick and call it a day and send you on your merry way. Starting with the first game of the week. Ooh, look at that. The Houston Texans get another Saturday game. This time they have to go on the road to face the Baltimore Ravens. This will be interesting because I think this Houston Texans team has really proven themselves. If I was Baltimore, I would be afraid. Be afraid, John Harbaugh. Be afraid, Lamar Jackson. Be afraid, Jonathan Bunting. Shout out to him. He's the only Baltimore Ravens fan I know. It's going to be tough. But also, the Baltimore Ravens are the Baltimore Ravens. So don't expect Houston just to come in and win. Don't expect Baltimore Ravens just to come in and win either. It's going to be a tight game. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes overtime. Overtime game? I would love that. Ultimately, though, I do think the Baltimore Ravens squeak this one out. I do think they do, and I think that's what happens. Although, don't be surprised if something surprising happens. Okay, and then the other game on Saturday is Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are a good team. Green Bay Packers, they're a good team. The 49ers blew out the Cowboys, what was it, 41-7? This game is in San Francisco. My inclination is to pick the San Francisco 49ers, but I don't think it's going to be the 2-1 seeds in the the Super Bowl. Excuse me. Give me the Green Bay Packers. That's my upset pick of the week. I think the Green Bay Packers upset the 49ers here. I really think they do. They play good on defense. Their offense is in stride. I also just don't believe there'd be 2-1 seeds. So I'm more confident in the Ravens than the 49ers. And then we move to Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are looking really good. I'll be rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My personal preference is to root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm good either way, honestly. The Lions are a great story, too. I do think the Lions win this one. I think Baker Mayfield doesn't repeat as having two back-to-back great games. I think the Eagles' defense, the whole team was just depleted. Give me the Lions in this one. And then Sunday, Chiefs at Bills. Bills beat them once already. This game is in Buffalo. Give me the Bills. Patrick Mahomes, you can go packing. That's what you can do. See ya at the latest State Farm commercial. I'm going with Josh Allen to beat you at home. Well, there you go. That is the NFL divisional round. Watch those games. As you can see, CBS, ESPN, and then I think there was one game on Fox. One game on Fox as well, and NBC. So go check those out. Let me know what you guys think. Who's going to win? Let me know what you guys think about the Utah Jazz. They're doing really good, and I'm super pumped about what they have in store in the future, and it's going to be good. It's warm outside. Go take a walk. Go have fun. This has been Fan Talk by me, Kyle Brenchley. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys next Thursday for another wonderful edition. Again, you can find this on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And as always, I'll link my links down below. Don't be afraid to say hi. Come say hi. Give me a little message. Give me some feedback. I love it. I appreciate it. You guys have a great Thursday, and I am signing off. Adieu.